sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day. They're the eyes of a man whose lust knows no bounds, who lives but for corrupting others to a life of carnal pleasures and lewd designs. A man whose erotic desires and libertine practices are used to titillate the unsuspecting, and would stoop to any depths to satisfy his pornographic tastes. A Marquis de Sade would have regarded as a peer.
Hello, and welcome to the Food Book Baedeker. We are at E.L. James 50 Shades of Grey because we hear there's a movie coming out. We thought it might get more hits. We're shameless. We know. Is that what they're calling it?
I hope that's a section of Barnes & Noble.
It has sold more copies than all Harry Potter books.
Yeah, the trilogy? Or just 50 Shades of Grey?
I don't know.
Okay, we're going trilogy.
We are drinking vodka in Malibu. Are you drinking, Josh?
Bourbon?
Bourbon. Should we start with 12 steps?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's going to be a super tight summary of what happens in 12 steps. Spoilers ahead. Step 1, be a virgin. Step 2, take over your roommate's interview. Because step 3, get stalked. Yep. The main character creepily
Actually,
stalked.
it's not even creepy. Well,
So Christian Grey, this guy that's Anna Steele, what's her name? Annabelle?
Anastasia.
Anastasia Steele. Wow, what a name.
do they ever say how Christian Grey came about all his money? He's just a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, there was not, yeah. Anyway, so he totally stalks her where she's working. She's working at like a mom and pop version of Home Depot, right?
Right. Yeah, Ace Hardware, yeah.
Yep. So then, step 4 is receive expensive books from your stalker, right?
First edition.
$14,000.
Lucky. Step 5, drunk dial. Step 6, puke. But who does she, wait, let's go back to step 5. Who does she drunk dial? Well, Christian Grey, of course. And then she pukes in his presence after he comes. How did he know where she was? How did he know that? Do we remember?
She drunk dialed him and said she was out, but didn't he trace the call? Yeah,
I think he
had
did.
the call traced.
Yeah,
Stalker.
that is pretty creepy.
I mean, that takes
Super
stalker to a
But
whole
he
different
saved
level.
He saved her from Jose.
Yeah, Jose,
Sure.
Creeper.
Grabby photographer.
So
And friend. He was a friend.
And friend.
friend. Yeah. Step 7, wake up in a strange bed. But no sex was had. No sex was had.
Right.
Yet. Step 8, take helicopter, Tango Charlie, fly it in the dark. Foreshadowing, blindfolding, I think so. Step 9, meet the Red Room of Pain. Dun dun dun. Now, a lot of the description in the book was just kind of nuts, like not great, but
Yeah, it's pretty lousy.
but the description of the Red Room of Pain was adequate.
Yes.
Step 10, read a freaky contract you don't think you want to sign. Step 11, receive a lashing. Step 12, run away.
Yeah, that's how she knew they weren't compatible, because she didn't like being hit with a belt. Right?
Always a telltale sign.
Let's just try it. No.
So I hear that some people at this table have actually read all 3. If you are one of those
True.
people, raise your hand right now.
Look at that.
See, didn't we pick our guest lineup perfectly?
They're more informed than us.
So, for those of you who have read all 3 books, what was your favorite part of just the first book?
You can go first if you want to. So I would say favorite part would be where she kept saying she was not going to sign the contract, and you knew that she was tougher than the character was portrayed in the beginning. Like she was a virgin, no experience, seemed kind of plain Jane in my head, but she wouldn't sign the contract. I kept liking how she had a little control too. That, I mean, I
She
don't know if
gained
that's
a
my
little
favorite.
bit of his power.
Yeah, there were parts that were my favorite. those were good parts. I liked those parts too. I'll keep it clean for now.
Rachel, your favorite part?
I think my favorite part was the very beginning. When she goes into his office and has the interview and you instantly know there's like a serious attraction that neither of them can ignore, that instantly got me hooked.
Anne?
My first favorite part would just be that.
Yeah.
So I have several favorite parts. And then I will go to the naughtier sections are kind of fun to read. Kind of fun for the mommy porn.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
take on
Might actually be why a lot of people bought the book.
That's probably right. The baby boom, the 50 babies.
Before we started recording, we were like, I bet a lot of babies were born right after this book. I'm part of Generation Gray. I don't know. What do you want to call it?
Generation Grey.
Love it.
That's good stuff. I don't know what my favorite part would be. I think it's when Kristen was like scolding her in the hotel room. Like you should really eat more when you drink. Like what? I just found it really weird.
Drinking 101.
Yeah.
Baby. Did anybody else notice how many times he said
baby?
and how many times
Is that how
she?
you heard it in your head when you was saying?
Or they're signing of their emails back and forth.
Yeah, the way
Later.
they sign out
Later.
later.
Latest baby.
Yeah.
Later, babe.
And she kept referring to her inner goddess. Like, how many times did the term inner goddess come up? Like, inner goddess. And hoe, the word hoe, she kept calling herself a hoe. Hoe. No, but she wasn't calling herself a hoe, her subconscious was calling herself a hoe. Or was it her inner goddess? I don't know. I get confused.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Oh my gosh. Least favorite part? Anyone?
Least favorite.
The end.
It was, I don't know, when he kept getting called, described as mercurial, because he was just being so up and down, like, it's like, who, and then you get mad at Anastasia, it's like, you realize that this just cannot be going anywhere good, like, come on, I
They're
don't
really
know.
bad at communicating.
Well, they are kind of bad at communicating, but
Yeah.
also not bad at
Well, that's
communicating. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is I disagree with you, and I think they were good at communicating.
I don't know.
You're
Just
wrong.
in the beginning when.
They were good physically at
Yeah.
communicating, right?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
for him, she was the best communicator, and no one has ever made him talk the way or share stories. Or
The way that she Yes. did.
Because she's not a true
Because-
submissive.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly.
Yes.
And it's what he needed.
When they started doing shorthand for submissive subs, I'm like, my sub. I'm like, it makes me think of like substitute teachers in high school, and then it just got real. Oh, should we all sing the Mrs. Robinson song? Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Oh my gosh. Now, I love how she just started calling his mom's friend Mrs. Robinson. That was hilarious.
Yes.
That was hilarious. What a naughty woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of those gender role things. Like, if that had been written, it had been a guy, an older man with a younger woman,
okay.
that book would have
Yeah.
been completely different. Like, there were a lot of double standards happening here. Josh wants to chime in
What?
on that. Well,
What?
you told me earlier, you were like, yeah, if a guy had written this book, this just would have not have flown, right? And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
trying to get you to come out of your shell and share your thoughts with us.
Exactly. No, I just think it would have been received probably differently if a guy had written it, and probably wouldn't be, because I think when it came out, like everyone in the office was reading this book.
Yes.
So I don't went through.
It was catching people quickly who even don't read as often.
Exactly.
We're going out and buying not one, but 3 books.
Mhm.
And flying
Reading
through
them in warp speed.
Yeah.
I've never.
I've never read that fast.
No. Mm-mm.
Did you read Gone Girl?
No.
Okay. Well, that's a contender. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Okay.
Gone Girl.
Note to self.
No erotica, sorry.
Noted.
It is a good book. Though. It is a good book.
Gone Girl. I don't remember that.
Josh, tell us about the history of this author, because you did research.
Yeah, so supposedly she started writing in 2009, and I don't know, I think it's pretty evident that she's a young writer. Well, not young of age, but of experience. Kind of like Anastasia Steele. But, so it was, I think it started out as Twilight fan fiction and then turned into this trilogy.
Okay, so there's something.
So she was like a creepy 55-year-old lady like typing this stuff.
But I did
Yeah.
read Twilight, and there were some things like, do you remember the part of the Twilight books where he takes off her sweater? Like that was like the same. Do you remember putting on the sweater at the end of the interview? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a Twilight callback. It's such a Twilight callback. and just the fact that he's very, serious and doesn't smile. I mean, that's very Edward, whatever his name was. You know? So,
Yeah, very
Cullen.
twisted
Edward Cullen.
and dark. Yeah, painting him twisted and dark and making it.
So when you told me that, I was surprised at first, but then the more I thought about it, I was like,
It does make a lot of sense.
total sense. Total sense.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting, and I think it was independently published at first, but that's not as interesting. I'm failing.
So when this Christian Grey character was being so crazy about her eating, I thought this is just a dumb book. Like, this is just dumb. Why are they going there? But then later, when he does the commencement speech thing, and you find out that he used to be hungry his first 4 years, then I was like, okay, I guess that.
Yeah, it all tied together
That all
and it made it less.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe about a third of the book in, I was just like, I cannot believe I'm reading this. Oh, no.
But you did enjoy it.
But I was saying to myself, oh, and I definitely
It didn't grab me at first, but once it got rolling, it was more enjoyable than I foresaw.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear a guy's perspective because you hear about it from
Mm-hmm.
other females. So, like, as far as reading it, like, was it kind of jokish to you at first? Like,
Oh
or
yeah.
what was the style?
Could you take it serious at all?
Not really.
Not that I.
I don't know. See, my main problem is I went to school for journalism, so I'm kind of a jerk when it comes to other people's writing, and I don't know. That was the main thing I couldn't get past. Is her
Judge
writing
you
is
much?
really bad.
Well,
But
she did use the same words over and over.
yeah.
Yes.
Mercurial,
Ugh.
right?
Yeah.
Inner goddess.
Inner goddess all the
Yes,
time.
baby. Sardonic. There were a few
Yeah,
other ones that
sardonic.
she just used over and over and over again. It's like, okay, limited. Okay.
And I still have no idea what Anastasia Steele actually looks like.
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
I have no idea what Anastasia Steele actually looks like.
Okay, this is what she looks like to me.
Oh.
This is what she looks like to me, and maybe I have it completely wrong.
Yep.
She has like dishwater blonde hair, super skinny, mousy, but very tall.
Mousy, I would use mousy.
So that the reason I say tall is because she can make herself seem bigger on demand.
True.
You know what I mean? That's how I pictured it. How do you guys picture?
Brunette.
Brunette.
Yes,
I
I would
pictured
brunette too.
brunette, but the
Brunette
same,
too.
the rest, the same, but brunette.
Very mousy, kind of just not someone who would stand out
Yeah,
to you.
very
ever.
neat.
Yeah,
But like you have that friend,
yeah.
you know, like she could be somebody's
Yeah.
friend.
I think I pictured the like, oh, you're kind of a bookworm, and then it'd be like, she could be really gorgeous once that came up. Wow, okay.
And with long hair, long
And
enough
long
for him
hair.
to braid it.
Happy hour at the library!
I think it was about maybe 3/4 of the way the book through, he references back to when they first met, and he's like, you're not a submissive. When I first met you, you were, in that interview, you were mousy, and I thought you were be a perfect sub, but you're nothing like that. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's why he was so into her, because he was like,
Perfect.
Yes.
submissive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Perfect.
that was another part where I was like, okay, maybe this book is redeeming itself, just like in the whole logical storyline arena, you know? So,
Or maybe he liked that she wasn't showy and didn't stand out, you know, and would naturally have more of those tendencies because she didn't seem as confident when she was talking to him in that interview.
True. Yeah, how many times did she blush in this entire book?
Oh.
or whisper.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of whispering going on at
Yes.
this point.
Yeah, they're blushing for sure.
Yeah. I noticed that, like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So usually Josh and I will ask each other or we'll ask our guests, would you recommend this book? But I don't think anybody, I mean, that's not something you go up to someone and say, hey, you should really read this erotica, right?
I disagree.
I tell
Yeah.
people to read
I
50
held
Shades
out.
of Grey.
I held out 3 years, and then just recently Anne said, you have to read 50 Shades.
I'm on my second round of the
Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Just fast, light reading. That's kind of fun. But yeah, so we were at a bonfire the other night and we were talking about this too. And there's a couple who hadn't read it, but everyone else, even the guys and the girls, all were like, "Yeah, you should."
Never read it.
You might be one of those gray babies coming out.
And it was interesting how some people made it, were so kind of discreet about reading it, and then other people were not at all. You know, you're on
Like,
the plane.
oh yeah, I
and
did
you
that.
say,
Yeah.
"Oh my God." So I think that was interesting just to kind of see how widespread it was.
Yeah, who was ashamed that they had read it and didn't really want to admit it. And
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
me. I was at a work party on
Oh, no.
Friday, and they were asked because they know that we do this book club. They're like, "What book are you doing now?" And I'm like, "Well, we have done a lot of classics in the past."
Never a good way to preface it.
And next month we're doing Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like,
Oh.
yeah, but what are you doing right now?
But it's practical. It's going to reach masses because
Yes.
it is practical.
Practical.
Practical for the
For-
mom who doesn't like have a lot of time and wants something that you don't have to think a lot about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can just pick up a book or 3. I've never read 3 books in a row ever in my whole life.
Me neither.
So for me, just to like grab it and like pick it up and just start going was something completely new to me.
Okay. I'm gonna put big like letters on the video that say spoiler because I am not gonna read the next 2, but I gotta know what happens. What happens?
That's a good point. Yeah,
What
what does
happens?
happen?
What happens?
How can you
to
not?
read it.
This was just like, this was nothing compared to what's in here.
Because if you go to Kindle, this gets like 4.5 stars out of 5. But these, they get
Those
like
are
2.5
the
and
good
3. Why is that, ladies? Why is that?
Well, for me, while it was like super naughty that you were reading all, by the time you get to like, you know, almost through the second one, you're like, it's every other chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or every chapter, a section. Like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
You're naughty, you whip, you spank. Now,
Oh,
like,
there's
what
more-
else is happening?
There's more sex in this.
in all of them, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you get a
Yeah.
for
In 2
me,
and 3, there's more sex.
yeah, I got a little
Yeah.
not burned out, but you know, like, okay, I'm kind of like, read that already. And it's the same descriptions, the same way, the same
Is
feelings.
there more whispering?
Yeah, there's a lot more
Oh.
whispering.
A lot of inner goddess.
Inner goddess shining through. But but the dinner party.
Oh, and there's a dinner party?
Yeah, it's like a
Ooh.
major part.
Yeah.
I
in
think
2 or
you
3.
hear all
Yeah.
of the characters, like they don't touch on the character stories in the first, like Mrs. Robinson, and just kind of everything
Yeah.
that comes and
There's more detail into his family too.
Yes.
His
And his
mom
past.
and his past and how that all kind of is
Mhm.
in 2 and 3. And of course in 3 it's like you said the other day, you kept waiting for like gloom and doom, something
Yes,
bad was
something
gonna
bad to
happen. And it doesn't.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Wait, do they live happily ever after?
Sort of.
Ah!
Into the sunset kind of.
It takes a while to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It does. It takes a long time. Super spoiler. Woo.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So she doesn't die while being
No.
suspended.
No. It's something bad happened.
A lot of other bad traumatic things happen in there.
Yeah, it's not all.
There's guns
almost.
involved. And
Guns?
crashes,
There are
yes.
guns?
Yes.
Guns?
Yes.
There's no guns in the
Kidnapping.
first one.
Kidnapping, ransoms.
What?
Yeah.
Charlie Tango gets.
Super Charlie
Yeah.
Tango moments.
More
Wow.
fights. Yeah.
Christina's gonna read these.
I
might.
I'll
I
just
think
wait for
too, the
rules.
craze that happened with it, I'm not gonna disclaim who it is in case she's reading or watching, but I have a little 80-year-old woman who told me that she's been reading 50 Shades and she's not a prude like her friends. And like, then she just came up and just was like, oh, I've been reading that.
Does she want a guest host sometime?
Yeah, she would. She'd be great. She'd be great.
You can pick the book. You can pick the book.
Yes. So I think it just was hitting such a realm of different, like, it just came such a phenomenon for
Well, that's
random
yeah.
people that they had something.
That's why it sold so many. Is it appealed to so many? You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're an 80-year-old
80-year-old
woman or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's reading it.
And it wasn't Nanny Pat, just an FYI.
I don't know who that is. That'll happen.
Glad you put that out there.
I'm saying that right now. You will watch.
So this was 50 Shades of Grey. It sounds like we're saying read it.
Yeah.
Okay, read it. Read it. It spices up everything.
It's a page turner.
And don't forget, so this is the September episode, so we know that October is coming up, which means ooh,
Spooky book.
spooky. So we're doing Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin, who has also done what's the Wives? Stepford Wives. Also did
Really?
Stepford Wives, and he's not really proud of Rosemary's Baby because he thinks it started off this whole horror movie cult.
Did this have a hangover on your inner goddess, Josh?
They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex.
Let's hear it.
You do, liar,
No,
liar.
I'm a submissive.
Did it give you like,
She was submissive and shit, did it,
Oh.
Did it make you want to feel powerful and track somebody down? And not that you're not powerful.
Or that you don't stalk people. We know you're a strong stalker, Josh. We know that about you.
Personal spoiler alert.
Sorry. Did it make you feel like, I wonder if chicks take this?
I don't mean like that, but
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Well, that's a question. I didn't read these books, but do chicks dig this? And is this like a roadmap for a successful relationship?
no, this is not a roadmap to a successful relationship.
Probably not the successful relationship, but I think like it makes people think like, oh, where would I
Yeah.
go? Like,
Yeah.
what would I do?
And the whole mommy porn thing is people who, I mean, maybe it was probably a giant demographic of women who had already been married and were probably super bored with their own sex life. So anything sounded more exciting than what they were doing. So whether or not they wanted that or not, or want that secretly, it's exciting.
And it's
Probably
okay
better than what
to
they're
read
doing,
it,
right?
and it doesn't have the Fabio guy on it.
Yeah, it's not
Or
like
that like looks like your mom.
Yeah.
What's on the cover of these?
Oh, the tie.
Not the tie.
The tie they use to
And cup gifts.
Don't you